pulling circuit. And this class is the Pro Stockers, the 10,000-pound tractors. And Army, there's that exhaust system you're talking about as we look at the 10,000-pound class. The full pull there and the weight of the sled, 40,000 pounds.
Well, the first to go to the sled will be John Lorenz. Now, he backed up into that special exhaust pipe. You can see on the front of the sled, it's a suck and blow system. It actually sucks the exhaust out of the tractor and then blows it out of the building. They would not be able to run this class indoors if they didn't have this special exhaust system. Boy, the weight comes up on John.
Look at this. He takes it out of there. The Sneaky Snake, a full pull, 230 feet.
Look at the heat coming off of that tractor. Even with the special exhaust system and everything, they lean on this equipment so very hard.
Let's take a look once again as he gets that front end up in the air. He has to drive it utilizing the rear brakes now, and you can see the smoke going back through that exhaust system. But he takes it the full pull, 230 feet. He has to be happy. Let's talk with John Lorenz.
All right, John, when you hook up to the sled after making special arrangements with this smoker system, does that bother your concentration at all?
Not really, no. No, these guys that are working on it are professional people. It's no problem. Gives me a chance to get the tractor started, get myself oriented, you know, telling me I'm going to do this, do that. No problem.
You're still having fun in this sport, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm going to quit, I think.
The word we get, this could be your last event.
Well, I'm going to run one more pull this winter, and then the guy that's been mechanic for me is going to try driving. If he gets along with it okay, he's going to drive, and I'll pit through.
Thanks for the memories.
Right. Thank you.
Well, John is the guy to beat. He has the full pull. Coming up next is Tom Reisinger from Sullivan, Ohio in Dr. Dirt as he hooks up to that sled and the exhaust system. Army Armstrong earlier this evening had a chance to tape this feature on that exhaust system.
Gary, one of the great things about the Indy Super Pull, and a lot of these people come to watch one class, the smokers, but normally you can't run the smokers inside. But the people at the Indiana State Fairgrounds have come up with a unique way so that these people can see their favorite class. If you look over my shoulder, you notice a special apparatus has been arranged on the front of the sled. It's about 8 feet in the air. The drivers have added extension to their exhaust stacks about 8 feet in the air. You put those two together, you hook a big vacuum cleaner line to it, if you will. Then you add this piece of equipment. It's an industrial blowing machine. It actually pulls the exhaust from the tractor and pushes it out of the building. So hopefully we're going to have a good, clean round of competition today. Let's see if this all works.
Well, Army, here's a look at the international harvester we call Dr. Dirt. This is Tom Reisinger out of the neighboring state of Ohio. Now, once again, our first puller, John Lorenz, took it out the end for a full pull. So from now on, anyone will have to go the distance to set up the pull-off.
Yeah, they'll have to make the full pull, but then again, they'll have to come back and pull in a pull-off if they make a full pull. Okay, so the pressure right off the bat goes on everybody. And look at the mile an hour these guys are getting. They're running it out the end of this building.
Another full pull for Dr. Dirt, Tom Reisinger. So the first two entries have the full pulls. Let's look again. Now you can see right away the elevation of the front end. He gets the air under the front. He has to steer with the brakes now. Look at the smoke. But once again, we've had two pullers and we've had two full pulls. So we'll have a pull-off. Let's go trackside to talk to Tom Reisinger.
Gary, these guys seem to have figured the track out. Tom, it doesn't seem like any problem at all. It's just business as usual.
Yeah, it run pretty good. We're trying a new set of tires, and pulling indoors is a new ball game for us, so I was pleased with the run.
And now we take a look at Gary Hendrickson in sweet, sweet music. This is a Massey Ferguson Perkins 540. Gary comes to us from neighboring Illinois, Tuscola, Illinois. Once again, he has to take it out the end to even set up his portion of the full pull.
Yeah, basically at this point in time, everybody in the rest of the field, and remember this is only the third puller, are trying to go for the third spot because the first two guys are out. Look at all the smoke coming off. The onboard camera is showing you, even though they're pulling all the smoke out of the exhaust, the engine's making so much heat and making so much power. 2:12 and a 3. That's not a bad run at all, Gary.
Well, not a bad run, except that you have to go out the end to be a contender in the pull-off.
Okay, let's see if we can figure out what the problems were. He went down the middle. He looked good. See, in this class, normally, if
there's
we
a
were
problem
outside,
right there, Army. He jumps off to the left, has to correct with the brakes.
And as soon as you tag that brake, they say it'll kill you 10 feet every time you touch the brake. He probably tagged it about 3 or 4 times, so there's 30 feet for you.
He lost his full pull right there, and we take a look now at John Wilkins out of Fresno, Ohio. This is Shotgun Red.
I've seen this guy before. He is definitely a player. Look at his rear tires, the cut on the rear tires. John has his own idea about what works. So far, he's always been right. Again, the front end comes up. Now it settles down. The ground speed's there. The weight's already topped out right now, and he's just muscling it.
And he falls shy, what, maybe 10 feet shy on that in the International Harvester? Shotgun Red at 226.8. No, only less than 4 feet away from the full pull. Let's look again. Now he stays right in the center of the lane, but watch the front end elevate.
Comes up, then it settles down. Now at this point, it is as heavy as it's going to get.
Well, coming up next, as we look at that replay, we'll have Bill Miller. There is Bill, and he's driving the Cruisin' Mule.
Now look at Bill's rear tires. I'm studying this camera angle, giving some idea of the cleat. Now, cleat on a tractor tire is the lumpy part, okay, for the average guy. That's the part that actually digs in the dirt. He's running a wider cleat than the man in front of him. So it's just like stock car racing. Different compounds work differently on different surfaces. And this guy's got a run going, but he's going left to right on the track,
he has
Gary.
to tag that brake, though, because he was going off to the right. He tags the left brake. That wrecks all of his momentum, and that cuts his run down to 2:18.2. So as that tractor took off to the right, it cost him the chance for a full pull.
Boy, that's a shame. Now, all the guys behind him are watching this. Right now, he's straightening the track. He's looking good. Comes over on him, has to settle back. Left foot tag again. See him working it? Starts working that left foot, trying to stay in bounds.
Not quite good enough. As we take a look at the current standings, John Loren still with the full pull. Tom Reisinger right there with the full pull. And third is John Wilkins in Shotgun Red at 226.8. The National Tractor Pullers Association staging the Indy Super Pull. We're coming back to Indianapolis. Stay with us. Well, normally in motorsports, if you smoke, you get black flag, but not here in this class at the Indy Super Pull. They're all called smokers.
Well, if you smoke in this class, you're making horsepower. Hey, listen, our statistician, Doug Kesey, just came up. We opened the show talking about you holding a world record. You did that 2 years in a row, we just found
No,
out.
not 2 years in a row. I skipped a year. 76 and 78.
But you're the only guy to hold the world's record for a garden track. I'm proud of you.
That and 50 cents will buy you some coffee.
Meanwhile, Mean Green. Check this guy out. Everybody that likes the color green's pulling for this guy right now.
Lance Little in gang green, but he falls real shy.
And he goes to the right of the track. Is the track going away? That's the big question.
Well, he has to be disappointed in that run at 2:02.4. We take a look now on the replay from our sled cam as all the John Deere fans now have someone to cheer for. It's just like NASCAR racing. The guys cheer for the Fords or the Chevrolets. Now we have the tractor fans. We have the International Harvesters, the Masseys, and the John Deeres. And here is Lance Little.
Lance, it looked to me like you kind of got caught in the tracks of the man in front of you. He hooked to the right, you hooked to the right. It's all over.
Yeah, it seemed like I got right in his grooves, and Bill's a real strong competitor. I thought I was in a real good spot, but just didn't work out that way today. So I'm just glad to be here. You know, it's a real good group of competitors, and, you know, made the best shot I could.
Coming up next is Carl Smith from nearby Greenfield, Indiana. He drives Night Moves. Greenfield about 18 miles east of Indianapolis. Once again, he needs a full pull to have a shot at the championship here this evening.
Amazing. When they come off that starting line, the camera angle shows you, oh, rough ride. May have missed the weight. He's got to get it to settle back down and make him make horsepower, Gary.
Can't do it. He can't do it. He falls short as well. So after the first two pullers enjoyed their full pulls, these other guys have had trouble. 2:15.10. Is the track going away?
Let's keep an eye on it. The front, if it comes up real quick, yeah, that's what's happening. The track's starting to get soft out in the middle. In order to get the front end to settle down, you got to backpedal. Well, that sled doesn't get any lighter. When you backpedal, it keeps getting heavier. That's what's going to hurt them.
Coming up next, we take a look at Dick Book out of Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Gary, one thing you got to remember, in order to make the Copenhagen Skull Pulling Circuit Championship Super Pull, these guys have to qualify. They chase points all year long. He's representing the state of Pennsylvania. Well, look at the intensity on the driver. They're reading the gauges all the way down. Weight's coming up on him. And he, too, goes to the right side of the track. I wonder why, Gary Lee.
Well, at this point, he's saying something to himself about, well, we didn't quite do well enough on guessing the weight this evening. 2:05.11 for Dick. So we still have two pullers that have taken it out at the end for the full pull. We'll have a pull-off right now between John Lorenz and Tom Reisinger. But can somebody else garner a full pull?
I don't know. The track is going to dictate that real quick.
Well, as we conclude that replay, Paul Weish is coming up next. He is from St. Mary's, Ohio, and he drives the tractor called Wipeout. Once again, this is the 10,000-pound Pro Stock.
We were talking about the driver sitting on the starting line. You notice right in front of the drivers is the NTPA officials. Well, one at the very beginning and one at the end. I like that. The officials are right there should anything happen. But the driver's looking at the gauges right in front of him. As soon as all the pressures and all the gauges get right, bam, they're going down with the throttle, off with the brakes, and here we go.
I'd like to drive one of these sometime, Army, but I want a tilt steering wheel. Now, once again, he pulls off to the right. Well, the driver has to have some comfort
You don't have
there.
to justify yourself. You're a two-time world champion. I will let you have what you want.
That's a two-time world record holder, by the way. Don't forget that, Army. I should have never showed you guys the picture of that tractor from 1978.
That's
once again, Paul comes up short as he pulls off to the right.
Is that on the walls of the Indy Speedway Museum?
Yeah, it's in the Hall of
basement.
Fame. It's in the Hall of Fame down in the basement. Roland Barr comes up next. The Green Line Fever out of Georgetown, Ohio.
Well, Gary, anybody that likes the color green knows the name Roland Barr. He's one of the old timers. But what you're going to see here is a classic case of hand-eye coordination. Left foot is on the clutch, okay? The right hand's on the throttle. It's almost a finesse situation. Pulling over 30,000 pounds of weight, you got to roll off the clutch just right and go into the throttle, okay? Just like coming off the corner in a sprint car. Man, too much, too quick, it gets you a whole lot of trouble.
Oh, so close, but not quite enough. 2:26.7. Look at that, 2:26.7. But Roland Barr needed the full pull. That means we'll have us a pull-off between both John Lorenz and Tom Reisinger. We take a look at the replay. Once again, this is almost dead perfect, but not quite good enough. He may have missed on the weight by only a few pounds, but he comes up less than 4 feet short of the full pull. That's what he needed. He's off the tractor and down with Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, we're standing with a guy that had all the red tractors worried, but drawn bottom of the field today, not the place to be, was it, Roland?
That's for sure. I believe I got out easy earlier in the class, but that's part of the breaks of pulling.
And there are the two combatants we'll have in the pull-off. The veteran on the left about to retire, John Lorenz, and the youngster Tom Reisinger on his way up in this motorsports event. So once again, both of those drivers had full pulls. They'll be involved in the pull-off. But first, we have to add some weight. Rule of thumb, each block of steel weighs 2,000 pounds. So we're adding some weight right now to the sled. So, Army, what will they do to change their tractors?
They'll probably make one change. They'll probably move about a 75-pound weight forward. That's all they'll do, Gary.
There's your pull-off, Dr. Dirt and Sneaky Snake. It's all happening during the Indy Super Pull here at the Indy Interstate Fairgrounds. And there is a look at the retiring veteran, John Lorenz, out of Fresno, Ohio. He pulls on the skid lid, and he straps up. So he is driving Sneaky Snake. He will be the first to pull here in the pull-off. And there's the youngster in the sport. There is Tom Reisinger out of Sullivan, Ohio. So a pair of Buckeyes going for the championship. After the entire evening of competition, the championship here of the Indy Super Pull comes down to one of two gentlemen. We're at the Indiana State Fairgrounds Coliseum here in Indianapolis. We are ready for the pull-off, and there is a look at the veteran, John Lorenz, out of Fresno, Ohio. He drives Sneaky Snake. He had a full pull, as well as Tom Reisinger. And Tom Reisinger astride Dr. Dirt.
The old man is taking his shot at the kid. Let's see what's going to happen. John reads the gauges, rolls off that left foot on the clutch, right hand on the throttle. He's going after it. He's laying his shot down right now. The kid's watching him.
Maybe an advantage to go second in this pull-off, and there it is for John Lorenz at 2:16.1.
Tell you what, he was not rattled one bit, was he, Gary?
Well, he's been in this position many, many times during a very long and illustrious career. He is the veteran here, and as he told you earlier, Army, he is going to be walking away from this event. He said maybe one more pull for him, and he'll turn the cockpit of that tractor over to his longtime crew chief. He pulls off to the right. His run is over, and he's down trackside with Army Armstrong.
John, you've taken your best shot. You took it down the right side of the track. Positioning the sled on the starting line, you know, why there?
Well, everybody was been coming over to the left side, and you know, you got to try something different. You go the same place everybody else does, that's where you're going to stop. We took a gamble and tried the right side. I don't know if it was right or not. We'll know in a minute.
Well, now all he can do is watch Tom Reisinger, the youngster from Sullivan, Ohio, astride Dr. Dirt.
Okay, and Tom, what does he do? He watches the man in front of him and goes to the right side of the track. There's some philosophy there in what John said for young people. You go where everybody else does, you're going to wind up just like them.
There's a look at John Fink, who is the tractor owner and chief mechanic, crew chief as well here on the Dr. Dirt. He looks on. John Lorenz can do nothing but watch. Looks like a good pull for the youngster from Ohio, Tom Reisinger. Looks like he may have it by a few feet. Let's wait. Well, you can see the look of perhaps frustration there.
222.
Yes, he does
there you
it.
go.
2:22.10 as John Lorenz looks on, kind of chuckles, walks away. There is a victory salute from the tractor owner, John Fink. The helmet comes off, and Tom Reisinger is now aware that he is the champion of the Indy Super Bowl. Let's ride along with the winner from the sled cam. Here it is. This is your championship pull. 2:22.10 for Dr. Dirt. Tom Reisinger out of Sullivan, Ohio. The youngster picks up the championship here at the State Fairgrounds. Let's go down trackside with Army Armstrong.
Tom, I tell you, a win is a win, but an Indy Super Bowl win's kind of special in this sport, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been, it seems like every pull I went to at the state nationals this year, me and John go round and round.
Yeah, but he's a tough competitor, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been doing it quite a bit longer than I have. I just got nervous down there at the starting line, and the first time I revved up, I didn't have it in gear.
Well, congratulations, you did a super job on your first Indy win.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I like his honesty. He was honest enough to say, I didn't have it in gear. I was so nervous. So once again, Tom Reisinger in the pull-off wins it at 2:22.10 over John Lorenz with a 2:16.1 pull. Well, that will wrap it up from the Indy Super Bowl here at the State Fairgrounds Coliseum in Indianapolis, Indiana. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. And now here's news of an exciting new home video release from Diamond P Sports.